we're going to go into opening prayer, but, prayer doesn't have to always be solemn, and it would just be wrong to try and get there when we're in this love place. So just take this moment. I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, to get yourself centered. I like to get both of my feet on the ground so that I'm grounded, and then just focus in on that song that you were just singing and shift to we to I. I've got love. I've got love. I've got love. I am love. What? I am love. I am love. 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 We call love forward. We call ourselves as love. We claim ourselves as love, and we put that love forward as we come together in like-mindedness for this service today, bringing about more good into the world and into our lives. We claim that to be so. We let it be so, and so it is, and amen. And we will invite Nick up to do our call to worship song, and you all can stand to sing along if you want to.
Where is that mouse?
Traveling dots.
If it gets... Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God decision right here and now.
Good morning, everybody. And welcome home. If this is your first time here, please be sure to raise your hands, and we have a gift for you. But I really want you to take in what welcome home means. You know, a lot of people say once they find unity, they found home. And I know that was true for me. So I really want to welcome all of you home. I'm going to ask you all to repeat after me, and if you're watching virtually, please type this in the comments. Everyone, look around at your neighbors and repeat after me, remembering that all of us have the divine within us. Good morning.
Good morning.
I love you this morning. And I sure do appreciate you being here. And of course, we're saying that to our virtual family as well. And help us grow this loving community by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to our pages. Now, please join me in reading these affirmations together. As I face choices in my life, love is my decision. I am the love I seek, and I receive it by giving it out into the world. And now it is my privilege to welcome my friend Elaine Penn. She is our special musician today, and she led Unity's music program for about 10 years and did a wonderful job. She's a motivational speaker, executive coach, retreat leader, and performer. Like, how does she get all this in? It's kind of amazing. Who inspires and empowers people to reach their highest potential. She's definitely a member of the UIG family, and we continue to love her music, which inspires us.
Hi. I'm looking forward to Reverend Wally's talk today on the Beatitudes. I spent a lot of time thinking about Jesus going up on that mountain and meditating and coming down and being such an amazing teacher and way shower. And I know he's talking about specific Beatitudes today, but when I thought about it, I thought the greatest lesson Jesus taught us was this, to love. Love your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. So I hope you feel my love towards you today. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When evening shadows and the stars appear, there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. Known it from the moment we first met. No doubt in my mind where you belong. Well, I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, and I'd go crawling down the avenue. There ain't nothing that I wouldn't do you feel my love. Storms are raging on the rolling sea, and on the highway of regret, the winds of change are blowing wild and free. But you ain't seen nothing like me yet. I can make you happy, make your dreams come true. Go to the ends of the earth for you. There is nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love. I love you.
Thank you, Elaine. What a beautiful song. So I think of that when I listen to it on several levels. There's certainly the personal level. There's the level of perhaps the human behaving that way as a channel for God, and then there's envisioning God himself, herself. I used the wrong language, sorry. It's my Methodist upbringing, perhaps. My dad was a minister, and every now and then I slip up. Actually, quite often. Yes, it's all good. So we're going to go into a period of meditation, so I ask you to prepare yourself, spine erect, feet on the ground. It'll start off with a little mindfulness. Just notice the tip of your nose and be aware of the breath flowing through your nose, in and out gently as you relax the body, relax the mind. Setting the intention to relax everything, to be here now, to be here in the presence of Spirit. Simply notice, aware of yourself as the witness that notices, as you focus on the air flowing through the tip of your nose. Let each thought float away until thoughts cease to exist. Just pure awareness. Simply breathe. If you notice a thought, I forgive myself. I forgive everyone. Each time a thought arises, the light of God is within us, quieting the mind and the body, renewing our awareness of the presence of Spirit. Now begin to notice your body. And when I count to 3, you will awaken fully relaxed, peaceful, feeling better than before. 1, 2, 3. Then we're back. Hopefully that was helpful to some of you, all of you. This is the time, if Nana is our honorary prayer chaplain, and I'll ask her to bring the prayer box up. I am the chaplain on duty today. Our chaplain team is here to pray with anyone who would like to after the service. To be included in the prayer list, you can fill out a form at any time before or after the service and drop it in the prayer box she is bringing up. There's also a prayer request button on the website that you can use at any point in time. Please know that for 30 days that these prayers each Sunday are sent to Unity Village and prayed over for an additional 30 days. So they get your energy, all of our energy here, in addition to the next 30 days. So prayer works, and I'm just curious. I'll take a quick poll. For the people that are here, and of course if you're online, maybe Bobby will see you raise your hand. Can you recall a time that a prayer was answered? Does anything come to mind right away? So I see quite a few hands going up. So when we say prayer works, it definitely does work. It works even better with all of our attention focused in the same direction. As a side note, I wasn't sure if I would make it here today for a health reason, and yet I'm here. So it's just one example of a minor prayer. People have much more significant needs, but yes, it works. So when we align our heart and our minds and our feelings, it works tremendously. So I invite you to think of someone or something that you would like to send love to today, as well as these prayer requests we have in the box. And we add to that the names Crystal Bird, Jane Marsh, Ellie McFalls, Everett Arthur Klug and family, Jean and Liz Armstrong. We know that God is working in all of our lives, especially those of us in need. We open ourselves to asking better questions. We let go of all that we dislike in the world, releasing that energy within us that is mirrored back to us. We accept what is while claiming what will be. We see and feel the light of Spirit within us at all times. We listen to the power of life energy in our minds and bodies. We trust our inner wisdom, and we accept divine guidance. The power of creation is with us as we claim a new vision, a new experience, a new way to live freely in peace and gratitude. We see clearly the next step, claiming kindness to all beings, unconditional love, agape. We forgive ourselves, releasing all of our guilt. We forgive others, releasing all appearance of separation. We see and feel the presence of Spirit within us, no longer hidden, revealed by our letting go. We remain at peace, gently moving away from ignorance, gracefully accepting what life is teaching us, and we say yes. We are willing to be channels for good, channels for God, to live as inspired beings. Everyone everywhere is blessed by this energy that we send around the world. The Spirit of life is with us now. We feel its vibration raising us up. And we we say, thank you, God. Thank you for everything. Amen. Now, please, thank you, Nana. I believe we will hear from Chip Roth next on the season of Lent.
Thank you so much, Rod. That was beautiful. I feel lucky to be in Unity in Greensboro today. I got to tell you why. For one thing, one of my favorite songs ever, Elaine. Thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for sharing your talent and your passion for love in the way that you do. I really appreciate that. And also, I was moved by what Reverend Mark talked to us about at Christmas time when he said, Christianity has a way to focus on the death and the birth of Christ in a way that doesn't pay enough attention to how he lived this life and how that can teach us. I'm lucky because thank you, Reverend Wally, for taking us down the path of how Jesus lived his life through the Beatitudes, for example. So we have a new practice here during the season of Lent. We're going to do a biblical reading each Sunday and talk to you about the metaphysical reading of it. Lent began this past week with Ash Wednesday. It is a 40-day period that represents a conscious release of what no longer serves us so that we may discover new ways to live our happiest and best life. Today, we do that by reading the first Beatitude and its metaphysical meaning. The introduction to the Sermon on the Mount reads, Now, when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him, and he began to teach them. He said, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The metaphysical meaning of this reading is that when we focus our thinking on our spiritual truth, we are on the mountainside. The Christ mind, which is our true self, helps us to learn to use our 12 powers in our everyday living. When this beatitude says, Blessed are the poor in spirit, it is referring to releasing our personal consciousness so that we can live out our spiritual nature more fully. When we are doing that, we are truly owning our kingdom of heaven, which is the realm of our divine ideas. And when we allow ourselves to be guided by our divine ideas, there is only room for thoughts that serve our highest good. So take some time to listen to your inner spirit this week. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So today begins a few things. Well, this past week on Wednesday began Lent, which is not something I really celebrated growing up. And I thought about that, and I was like, I don't know why, because, we were we went to church every Sunday and all that. And then I realized we were Baptist, and I think the Baptists withheld so much from themselves year-round that they didn't see any sense during Lent of holding back anymore. There wasn't anything left to hold back. I do remember very distinctly once there being a party at our house, and as soon as the minister left, the jar of moonshine came out. Almost as he went, it came. And my dad didn't even drink. He just liked to get a spoonful of it and say, "Look at the blue flame," and then light it on fire in the kitchen. So, anyway, I just had that thought this morning about the Baptists. I'm like, I don't know why we never really did Lent. Oh, well, there were just so many things. But let's talk about that. Even from the people who practice it in the way of I've had people this week on TikTok asking me, what are you withholding from Lent? And I'm like, the same thing I really try and withhold year round, which is the negative thinking and the error thoughts and that sort of thing, right? But, if you even look at it from the traditional use of it, of somebody's like, I'm going to withhold chocolate, or I'm going to withhold whatever, and people don't eat beef, I guess, on Fridays during that time. And it's like all of that, regardless of whether you want to do any of those traditional things or whether you want to do the metaphysical stuff that we do, the intent is to withhold something from the human sense part of this life that we're living to focus in on the spiritual. That's what they're doing, and that's what we suggest too. We just don't make you stop eating chocolate. right? And unless you want to, and then you should, you know. And so we do celebrate Lent, and we do look at, and it's also, this is all about walking ourselves for 40 days towards Easter, which is that rising of spirit in a new way, right? And then that's something that doesn't just happen that one day of year. It can happen right in this moment if you want it to. But like having steps and having ceremonies, I often say I'm not a ceremony guy, and then I find that there are lots of ceremonies that I like just fine, right? You're like, if your importance is the ceremony, and it's like, no, you have to walk like this, it's for right foot first, well, then you've lost me, because that's nonsensical to me, you know. But for the person who it's important to, you leave them alone and let them do it. It's like, because what is true for you is true for you, period, right? So, and I can respect that, unless you need what is true for you to be true for me, and you have an issue with me saying no to that, you know. So we're looking at various things, and today is also the day that, you know, we're doing a spiritual prosperity book once a quarter, and we're looking this first quarter at this book, In the Flow of Life by Eric Butterworth. And so we do a book study on it on the second Wednesdays of every month. So we'll do on Zoom. And, you know, we'll do that, I think it's March 8th, whatever the second Wednesday is in March, we'll do the final 3 chapters of this book. But also, for those of you who are too busy or just don't want to join us on Zoom on second Wednesdays, I'm going to get it in on fourth Sundays and at least get you something. It's a really great book, and I highly recommend you check it out. And you can go to Amazon and all that, but you can also, there's a site called betterworldbooks.com and another one called Abe, as in Abraham, but abebooks.com, where you can get a lot of the type of books that we study in Unity. They're used books, and you can usually get them for like $3 to $7, and there's free shipping, and it may take 2 weeks to get to you, but it's cheaper, and they support good causes. Anyway, this is not an advertisement. This was not brought to you by. So I actually want to start with, you know, when I realized I was starting the Beatitudes series, and we were going to run it for 5 weeks. So, Elaine, the next time you're here, we're still going to be doing in fact, that'll be the last of the Beatitudes the next time you're here. So, but, you know, it's, and then we're going to do the Lent series, the Lent reading series, where we look at the Beatitudes all the way till Easter Sunday. It's important because we're looking at what Jesus came to give us was ways of looking at how to be. It is that simple. Like, they didn't like come up with some fancy intellectual title. It's like, here are the attitudes to be. We'll call them the Beatitudes, you know. And so, but, you know, when I was thinking in terms of like, what's our modern day Beatitudes that we're taught, that we then come to places like Unity to unlearn, which is no pain, no gain. You know, you got to work hard to succeed. Not just work, but now you got to do it hard, you know. And, you know, and the truth is that like hard work or work is often a path to success. But like, if your focus is, the only way to get to this good is the hard work, and you're so focused in on the hard work, then you're wearing yourself down so much that by the time you get to the good, it's hard to really enjoy it, right? So I'm not one to say, no, you don't have to do hard work. There's some things you really have to buckle down and concentrate on and do, right? But if you're doing it like keeping your mind on the end, right? Wayne Dyer said in one of his books that, you know, you want to think from the end and then work back to where you're going to start, sort of thing. Then it gives you something to work on. But what the Beatitude teaches us, and I think you can then use on all those modern day sayings too, you know, so that they're not just, you know, like throwaway garbage, like you can find some use in them, right? Is when you look at a line like, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So, you know, the thoughts that start to stream, you know, in the English language of like, all right, so to get to heaven, I got to be poor? No. And then it says poor in spirit. So then to get to heaven, I got to feel bad? No. But that's what it says. It says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Well, first of all, the kingdom of heaven, as we teach, is that place in our consciousness where all of our highest good thoughts are, like all the things that make you giddy. You know, the things that like just lift you up and you stand a little bit taller because you're not sunken down by the world, right? I don't know that sunken is a word, but you knew what I meant. And or I don't know that I used it correctly grammatically. So what we're looking at is, so first of all, is the kingdom of heaven is about getting to your highest and best thoughts that serve you in the best way. All the things that you would define as good, and not just good like the marvelous, the fantastic, all the big words that are bigger than good, right? All that stuff. In order to get there, you have to be poor in spirit? No, you don't have to be. But this is saying if that's a place you need to get and you're in poor in spirit, know that you are blessed and that you have a path to get there. And that when you get into these places of feeling poor in spirit, that's where they say, once you've hit bottom, all you got to do is go up, right? So it's saying that this is available to you. And sometimes we get so caught up in living that it's like, I got to do this. I've got this checklist. I got more on this checklist that I'm even going to get done today. That has been true for me for at least the last 3 decades. I don't think I've ever ended a day that everything on the checklist was checked, But and if you stay focused on there, you never get a chance to go up, right? And then at some point you just start feeling bad. And at some point then, in that state of mind, you have to stop and you sit down. And sometimes then you're just crying and you're feeling bad. But when you take that breath, right? If you think of think of some movie where, you watch somebody sobbing, at some point they're like, and it's that breath that gives you the break. And now you're on your way up. Now, that is not necessary to get to. Do not leave here and say, well, I think Wally said in order to feel good, I've got to be breathtakingly sobbing, crying. Not true. But when you are there, it helps you to get to the other, sometimes faster than the middle of the road, because in the middle of the road, you're so busy accomplishing stuff that it's hard to see. I need to take a break because the fuel that gets me through my productive days of checking off my checklist, of doing my stuff, the fuel of that is in taking a moment of visiting, and that can be a matter of minutes or seconds if that's all you got. Like if you're driving the car, you get to a stoplight, rather than giving the side eye, the mean eye to the person that was just, driving bad, take that moment to just say, God is, I am. God is, I am. Green light, go. So now you had your visit, and now you're off and you're running again, right? But you took that visit, and now you got a little extra fuel in that day because you checked in with the kingdom of heaven, which is thankfully not a geographical location, that it's right here in your consciousness. And everything we teach is about your feeling and your thinking nature, which is your consciousness, and finding the ways to control it and to own it instead of being ruled by it, right? So the other one we're looking at today is blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Well, I can tell you as someone who has mourned, and I'm not the youngest person in the room, so I'm guessing some of y'all have done it too, that there's some part of mourning, like when you've done it in a deep way to someone you feel deeply connected to, that you don't feel like it ever truly ends, and yet you do start to get some breaks from it, right? But it's the same thing. In that moment, at some point, you have to start thinking about the person that you're mourning for. It doesn't have to be a dead person. It can be you're mourning for a past relationship. You're mourning for a job that you thought you were going to do till retirement, right? In that place of mourning and feeling bad, then you start having memories about the things that you miss. Now is your opportunity to take that visitation to remember what you enjoyed about that person or about that relationship or about that job or about that whatever, fill in the blank, right? And have the lifting up moment, which is comforting to you. That's our power and our opportunity. It is also our responsibility. We can sit there and just feel bad and just be like, I can't believe they left me. I can't believe they didn't take that. Had they taken that one other medicine, they'd still be here, and they didn't do, and you can go into that world that will never get you anywhere positive, right? And sometimes that's just a real emotion, and you got to honor that too. And then somewhere in it, say, okay, I'm missing this person, this relationship, this job, because I loved it. So let me take a moment to appreciate the love. And in that moment of appreciating the love, there is comfort. And in that comfort, you pop right on back up to the kingdom of heaven, into your highest consciousness. Right? So it's in getting to these places, the Beatitudes, and what we're looking at, and I think that they're worth looking at in a slower way and like taking weeks to look at them, is because they're all reminders of getting us to a place that fuels us to live our highest and our best lives. And so what Eric Butterworth said that ties, and what we're doing when we're doing that, like our annual theme this year is living in the flow. And so then this book is about really kind of looking into what that flow is in the flow of life, and like, well, what is the flow and what does it mean, and that sort of thing. That's what we're talking about with the Beatitudes, is when you're down, there's a way up. When you're down, you're out of flow. So that's part of what we're teaching ourselves, so that we can intentionally and on purpose live in the flow. When you're down, when you're feeling bad, that's cool. Those days happen. Sometimes the sky is blue, sometimes the sky is gray. But we don't have to be ruled by what we woke up to. We can then make our own decision about it, right? So like, see, if you decide, I define my happiness by a blue sky. You can change the word blue sky to, I define my happiness by this person. I define my happiness by this activity, right? So whatever those things are, let's switch them out for the word blue sky. And then you woke up and you got a gray sky. Well, that means that I get no happiness today. Or you can decide to be happy anyway, and then use things like the Beatitudes of like, oh yeah, when I mourn, I can take time to visit the things that I loved about what I'm mourning. Oh yeah, when I'm down, I can take that breath and get myself recentered and choose to be happy anyway. I can suddenly find that, on those cool gray days, I really love to just sit and have some coffee. And then you got something new that you can like on the day that you had just been defined as bad. Like, well, it's got to be bad because it's not, So here's what Eric Butterworth says that I think is helpful and in line with what we're talking about today. There is a wellspring of infinite life, substance, and intelligence within you, and yours is the privilege at any time of giving way to its flow. Whether it is in your own life or in the life of another, if there is a lack of any kind, the truth is something is blocking the flow. The most effective remedy, give. There is an old axiom, when things get tight, something's got to give. This does not mean something over which you have no control. It means you. You must give by giving way to the flow. So we talked about that when we read the affirmation today that said, when I want love, I get it by giving it. And that doesn't have to be the deep stuff. It can be go to your closest cashier, fast food, grocery store, wherever, and say, well, how's your day going today? Well, I am so glad you're here so that I could get this stuff that I needed. I just want to thank you for being here and doing this job. And when you give that, you immediately get lifted up, because in order to give them the good stuff, it's got to come through you so you get it before they ever have a shot of getting it. And if you want to intentionally give them the good stuff, that means you got it first. And you even tapped into, you walk out, you still have it. And they've moved on to the next customer maybe, right? Or they remember you for a long time because nobody's usually that nice to them when they come through there, right? And so It's in looking at, what do I need? Now let's give some of that. What do I need? Now let's give some of that, right? So, and that is getting in the flow. And that is being of the attitude. So the next time somebody says, no pain, no gain, say, well, I gain all the time without hurting. You should try it sometime. It's really cool. Like, I give all, so I'll give you my final example. Pain without any exercise, pulling my taxes together. Finally, some of the people that were with us on Friday night at dinner already heard this. I'm going through my credit card statements, looking for everything I can try and take off, and having spent not pay taxes on, right? So I'm going through, and I'm learning I really need to do a better job of going line by line on my credit card statements each month instead of waiting till once a year. Because we get to the September statement, and I find that I had booked a hotel room when I was going down to Florida, and I stopped in Savannah. I booked it through some discount travel site that I found on Google, and they charged me. And then I see the hotel charged me too. So I'd paid twice for the same room and only stayed one night. So I called, and the discount travel company charged me more than the hotel charged me. But but that's cool. They're running a business. They got to make money too. They got employees to pay. That's fine. It's $15 more. That's fine. I was supporting a business, except I didn't support the business because when I called them to say, hey, why did this happen? They called the hotel. They called me back, and they ended up refunding me all the money that they had charged me, which was the higher amount. So money I didn't even know that I had spent because I hadn't paid attention and had been careless on, by doing the hard work of doing my taxes early because I like to get it done as soon as possible. I earned $135. So, it's like, and it wasn't even trying to, but I did want to have a good moment. I was going for the good of getting this tax job off my back, right? And then you get the other good. So you got your own stories and your own things that can happen right today when you're like, you know what, I've got this thing I want to accomplish, and I want to get to the feeling good of having it done. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. So some would say, well, you're saying that you got to work hard to get to the success of that. Now, what I'm saying is I'm going for the success. And if doing this little job will get me there, cool. And sometimes I can sit on my sofa and do nothing, and somebody will call and say, hey, I had that job offer come in one time when I was when I was doing extra work. You hit summer season, and that's when all the TV shows were on hiatus. And so you mostly just drew unemployment during that time and didn't work very much. And that I was a week away from that. And a friend of mine who had been a producer in soap operas called and said, hey, are you working right now? And I was like, for tomorrow, but after that, she said, well, we're doing this show, we're shooting through the summer, and we need somebody to come sit in the booth and do continuity. It's a 5-day-a-week job. Can you do? Yeah, I'm available. I wasn't looking for that job, but it just came on its own. And that's when you say, I accept that the expected and the unexpected good is flowing to me right now, because I'm going to be in the flow on purpose, and I'm going to get there by finding the attitudes that help set me up for that success. With that, I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, and I behold the Christ that absolutely is you. Thank you. So I had this grand idea back in January to start asking the board members and the prosperity team, formerly known as the finance team, to each take turns and do the offertory ask. And I organized it, and then I didn't get one organized for today. So I'm going to do it. And then all y'all people, I need you on the schedule for March. So now is our time to give our tithes and our love offerings. What's the difference of that? Tithe is 10% of what you want to give from. Love offering is I'm giving where I'm comfortable and feel good in giving and supporting. Knowing that we don't sell any services here, but what we do offer does cost money, and we all together want to support it. And if you have any questions on what we're spending on and you weren't in the meeting last week, there are more budgets in the back, and you can get one so that we're fully transparent on what we hope to bring in and what we are already expecting to spend on. So With that, there are several ways you can give. I don't know of anyone personally that does the text to give, but we have it available. There's a phone number that you can text the word give to, and then it walks you through the process of the credit card that way. There's Venmo, which is Unity-Greensboro. There's donate buttons on the website and on Facebook. And we thank our virtual members in advance as well for their gifts. And then there's the good old school way of putting cash in the bag. So let us all together in thinking of those gifts. If you give electronically, I invite you to place your hands on your heart, and extend your loving thoughts towards the gifts that are coming through. And let us say this prayer together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And with that, if you'll join me, we'll do the short version of the first part of the song. If you'll join me in singing. Thank you, God, for everything. 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 All right, and with that, I will invite Rod up to say a blessing on the love offerings and tithes.
Thank you, Wally. Thank you, everyone who is here today for living in the flow. Am I turned on? I want to be turned on. That reminds me of the movie we saw Friday night. We do recommend seeing that movie, Jesus Revolution, for all of us former and wannabe hippies. So back to the prayer at hand, to this feeling of gratitude, to just living in this community that recognizes that we are all living in the flow of life, and we give thanks, and from that gratitude, we receive more and greater flow and greater blessings, and we pour these out into the world by tithing everything that we give here as a community, knowing that there is good from all that we believe and think and do, and we claim that good by our gratitude, by our willing to listen, to be channels of spirit and life. And we simply thank you, Allness, for all of this, for all it is, and for flowing in our lives every day, every week, every month. Amen. Who is up? Oh, and we are moving on to Mr. Nick.
Hi, I've been asked by the activities team to make an announcement. We do an activity, I guess, once a month. So this month, coming up in March, thank you, March 18th, there is a contra dance at the Guilford Grange, March 18th. I'm now not only on this board, but it should be 18th, it's a Saturday. So I'm not only on this board now, I'm also president of the local contra dance community in the Triad. So contra dance is something, it's a folk dance thing. You don't need a partner. Basically, to contra dance, you just need to know your left from your right. You need to be able to count to 8, probably twice, and you need to be able to walk at a brisk walking pace during the dance. I'm the caller that night, so I'll be teaching that and do everything I can to make you comfortable if you show up there. We're also really privileged to have a band called Playing with Fire that is a really hot duo, piano and fiddle. So it would be worth just showing up for that. You can sign up at the back. You will be contacted by text or by call, and I hope you show up and join us. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, great. I've gone once. It's fun. So I encourage folks to try it, especially the way he said that they're going to help us. So anyhow, I have a lot of announcements. I mentioned earlier that if you're a first-time visitor or haven't been here for a long time, please raise your hand so we can give you a gift bag. In the bag also is a visitor connection card. We really do want to get to know you and stay connected, so please fill that out. And if you haven't yet done so you can, put it in the back. We have our UIG Teen Movie Night is this coming Wednesday at 6:30, and they can use snack donations and at least one more adult to help out. And I'm sure that will be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last Friday night with our, fun. It was an interesting movie, Jesus Revolution, a great one for a spiritual community to attend. Anyhow, I would like to really and truly welcome UIG's new board members. So last week was the business meeting, and then we had our board members, and now they voted that first meeting on who was going to be what in terms of their office. Yes, thank you, office. So Ellie McFalls, who is, as you may know, needs to stay at home for a while, but she is now our president. Nick Boulay is the vice president. Yay, Nick. Pat Hauser, who's done a marvelous job as president. She has agreed to be our treasurer, which we definitely need. She's very good at that. Miranda Baker, who is both our social media person and our youth director, is now secretary. And Chip Roth and Kathy Henderson are our trustees. So thank you, everybody, for volunteering. It does take a lot of time, and so thank you so much for doing that. And, of course, Wally, our minister, so thank you. If you would like to represent UIG at the Grasshoppers game, we're going as a group on Tuesday, July 25th. So I know that sounds, why am I talking about it now? And that is because the deadline to sign up is March 26th. So if you think you're going to be in town and you think you would like to attend, please sign up. Coming from Chicago, it was very interesting to attend my first Greensboro Grasshoppers game. I mean, I just, if you've never been, to see dogs run the bases and be the bat dog instead of a bat boy, it's fun. It's a fun time. So, and we're going to have we want to support the John and Candy Band. They have been kind enough they come once a month to be our music for the day, and they are going to be performing at the Kernersville Brewing Company not this Friday, I guess it's a week from Friday, March 10th from 7 to 10. You can also sign up for that. And you know what? If we sign up in advance, we can actually carpool. I can't tell you how many times people who live near me, Charlotte and I end up driving ourselves to the same thing. It's silly. We live within walking distance of each other. So please do that. And then please check the table in the back for sign-up sheets for the Wednesday night activities, and also if you want to be on any teams. And now, once again, we have the honor of Elaine Penn.
Bringing water this time. I had the privilege of growing up in a musical family. There's my mother again. Say hi, Dixie, the greatest singer on earth. Traveling with their band. I tell people we were like the Partridge Family wedding band. Traveling with their band, Vaughn and I, my older sister, sitting outside writing songs with our acoustic guitars about saving the world. It truly was our place, our kingdom of heaven. And I could, because your vibration goes up when you're singing. Wasn't it St. Augustine who said to sing is to pray twice? And I feel it in here when we sing together. There's a collective feel that rises, and that's when I can feel God all around. So you're going to sing this song with me. So everybody stand up. You know it. I don't even have to tell you about it. And I'm not going to. Right. Here we go. Well, I could just sit around making music all day long. As long as I'm making music, I can't do nobody wrong. And who knows, maybe I'll come up with a song to make people want to stop their fuss and fighting long enough to sing along. Here we go. I believe in music. Oh, I believe in love. Music is love. People who believe in music, the happiest people I've ever seen. So clap your hands and stomp your feet and shake your tambourine. Lift your voices to the sky. God loves it when you sing. Everybody, I believe in music. Oh, I believe in love. Sing it again. All right. I believe in music. Yeah, I believe in love. Music is the universal language, and love is the key to brotherhood and peace and understanding and living in harmony. To take each other by the hand and sing along with me. Find out what it really means to be rich and young and free. Everybody, I believe in music. I believe in love. I can't hear you guys. Come on, lift it up. I believe in music. Oh, I believe in love. Let's sing it again. I believe in music. Yeah, I believe in love. One more time. I believe in music. Yeah, I believe in love. Amen.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so I hope that you'll use this feeling of believing in music and believing in love and this study of the Beatitudes that we're going to do now through until the end of March, that you use this as a time to set the intention for something to be transformative in your life, to set that intention, whether it be a project that you're working on or just something that you want that you think you don't have yet. Like, set that intention and let's celebrate by the end of March what our wins together are. So with that, I'll tell you that. Oh, and by the way, the reason why the deadline for a July baseball game is the end of March is we have to buy the tickets in advance, and I don't want a bad seat. So, we want the good seat. So we're giving you a month to say, and it's going to be, I think, $13 a seat for that. So with that, next week we are somewhere in the script. I know that John and Candy are here. They're going to be here every other month as a musician. And then, Lord, we're going to get there. Okay, I got there. Next week, what Beatitudes are we doing? Beatitudes with earth and satisfaction. And John and Candy are our musicians. So let us, by the way, does anybody have any celebrations that they had this past week or something coming up this week that we can acknowledge? Any birthdays, anniversaries? Whose birthday? Last week. I said, all right, well, happy belated birthday, Kathy. Okay, so, all right, happy belated birthday. Yeah. Yay, we're aging. Hey, it's better than the alternative, right? So, okay, so let us know peace and know that we're walking out and having peace while we remember the music and believe in love, and we're going to go straight to the prayer for protection. If you would like to hold hands, you can. If you'd rather not hold hands, I invite you to place your hands up in the air, and people will know. And together let us say, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, love is, peace is, light is, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Have a great week on purpose.